So, day 2 of my 21-day detox for myself is underway. This is by far the craziest thing I've ever done. But, by the results of today, I'm thinking it might actually work. This ridiculous leap of faith may pay off. But day 2 is not much different than day 1. Still just realizing to the extent that your reflection is in pretty much everything. So there's a lot of averting my eyes. And I also have a lot of free time on my hands. I did not realize, actually, how much I really was obsessing about my body. I'd always say that I did it 24/7, and I kind of just said that as an exaggeration, but I'm coming to actually make that truth. When I'm looking at all of the empty minutes I have to fill with whatever I want, it's becoming more apparent that it really did become my life. So, saying all that, there's a pretty remarkable revelation I had this morning that I was really excited to share. Last Saturday to this Saturday is a huge contrast. I did not tell anybody, but I was ready to give up last Saturday. I did not want to do it anymore. I did not want to keep fighting. I felt like it was pointless. I spent Friday night just sobbing myself to sleep over being in this skin. I did not want to be in it. I did not want to claim it. It felt too much, and it felt too seen, and it took up far too much space. So I kept praying that I would wake up and it would all be better. But yet I woke up and it wasn't. It was actually worse. So I spent the day in a lot of anger and a lot of defeat and a lot of hopelessness. And I acted on those things, and I found myself in a cycle I'm still trying to get out of. But this morning I had a little ray of hope. A little light shone through. I woke up this morning in a state of great joy. And for the first time, I felt weightless. I've been praying to God for years that He would show me what it felt like to not be attached to a body, to just not care, to wake up living in an answered prayer is one of the greatest things you can ever experience. See, I truly believe that God is a God of miracles. I've seen it happen. But this was a pretty lofty request. And I was just kind of convinced that He wouldn't be able to answer it. Not that He wouldn't be able to, but that it just wouldn't happen. So to wake up and realize that it was filled me with a lot of gratitude. But I realized why I also felt so weightless was because I was no longer weighted down by the fears and the anxiety and the anticipation of having to look at myself in the mirror when I woke up. See, that was my first thought every morning, was to go in that bathroom and stare at the mirror and scrutinize what I saw, knowing it would never be enough, knowing it would never be what I wanted to see. And it was my last thought at night, how I was going to handle what I did today, reflecting in that image tomorrow. And it was exhausting. And I didn't realize how exhausting it was until I didn't have to think it. It was an obligation I hated doing. My day, my mood was determined in those first few moments by that reflection. I was handing over what was meant to be mine. I was handing over what I was meant to control. I was handing over who God called me to be to this mirror, to this image. That image held so much power. And I did not realize how much power that act carried. until I didn't need to do it anymore. I had no idea to the extent of which it was weighing me down. You don't realize the weight of what you're carrying until it no longer has to be yours to carry. And that act, that reflection, those fears, and those words that I spoke to myself, they did not have to be mine. I did not need to do them, and I did not need to be defined by them. So knowing that I was back in control, that I could determine what I wanted to feel that day, that I could determine who I wanted to be, it left me free. And God woke me up right at the perfect time for this amazing sunrise this morning. And I just got to sit in the bed, and I accessed a part of me that I have not heard in a long time. And I just got to listen and see what I wanted to feel that day, regardless of what happened, not related to any reflection or any circumstances, but what I wanted to be, to move me further into the woman of God I've been created to be. So I chose to feel joy, and I chose to feel hope, and I chose to feel love for myself, because I can. Regardless of what I look like, regardless of what I've done or my mistakes, I can love myself, and I can live in joy for this life and be thankful for it. Who I am in that mirror does not define me as a woman of God. My purpose was never dependent on my looks. And to realize that and to step into that is freeing. So, if today is any indication over how the next 19 days will be, I am pretty excited for what lies ahead.